What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of R&B Reviews. I'm Brinder with Redwan here. We're gonna go over season finale, episode 6 of Loki. Just our thoughts on it. But before we get started, just wanted to let you guys know if you guys like podcasts in like an audio format, you can check us out on Spotify and Apple Music. Also Google as well. So just follow that if you just want to listen to it instead of watching something. And the audios do get uploaded a little bit faster than the videos do. But yeah, let's get into it. So what was your initial thoughts going into episode 6, and what did you think of it, the entire episode?
The entire episode I felt like was washed. Like it wasn't really one of my favorites. Like it wasn't even close to one of my favorites. It wasn't as bad as like episodes 1 and 2, but I was just like watching, I was like, oh, this is a boring episode. And it was a finale episode, but I was like, whatever. Like I was hoping that it was gonna be sick, but it just wasn't. Like halfway through. But one thing, I did write like a couple things down at least this time. So one thing that I noticed that wasn't really episode specific, and I know they did it in other episodes, but like I just clued in like really this time.
Okay.
Was the intro, and then having like the intro is different. Before they used to use the comic books for the movie, all the Marvel intros, and this time now they have like just the MCU content and like the Marvel intro.
Yeah.
So instead of like I thought that was cool.
This was slightly different. I'm not sure if you knew exactly why, but it was more like timeline wise. Like this is TVA and like timelines.
Yeah.
So they went back to like you were showing the MCU and like Marvel stuff, but instead of the music, they just started doing like the quotes. So everybody had the quote behind the music. So there's like things like Iron Man's first like blaster.
Yeah.
Black Widow saying like I got right in my ledger. Like everybody's like main thing, like they were saying like. Even like Hank Pym from Ant-Man had
a quote in there.
Yeah, so everybody had like a quote
in the Marvel, like in the Marvel scene, or after when they're going through like the universe part.
In the Marvel scene, the universe part, they started taking
audio clips. Yeah,
of, like real people, like Nelson Mandela.
Oh, actually?
Yeah.
Yo, I thought it was Marvel people. Like I was listening to it. No,
there was some Marvel stuff.
Okay.
But there was like Greta, like the one that she said, "How dare they take my like future?" That quote.
Yeah.
There's a Pakistani like female who's like advocating for female rights and stuff. They had her quote. They had like the first female president. So they had just a bunch of quotes from like a bunch of important people.
Okay. So it wasn't just Marvel people. Because some quotes I didn't recognize, but I was like, oh, they got all the like Marvel. That's actually what in my note there too. It says specifically audio from other Marvel movies.
Yeah. It was cool. That was a good nod to like what we're seeing, like the whole timeline stuff. It was dope.
I thought it was a dope too. But to finish off to answer the question on the episode, like it was very like mid. Like the fight was good. Like the fight between Loki and Sylvi was good. Like I liked it. But other than that, I was like, oh my god, like, and you know how I was pressing you? I was like, yo, what could they have done to be better than WandaVision?
Yeah.
I knew once I was watching the episode, the first thing that came through my mind, I was like, yeah, there's no way. There's no way. Like,
that
it's a
narrative
wrap.
dropped down.
I feel like they're so close, but then after like that episode, I was like, yeah, there's no way this is better than WandaVision. But when you watched it, like, what were you thinking?
Well, so when I watched it, I was like, okay, finally, like we get some answers. Like there's been just a bunch of questions overall. I like the color scheme of it for sure. Like I did not like the TVA orange and like new technology, but looks old. Like that shit was so lame to me.
Yeah.
But this like whole purple vibe and whatever, it was cool. We finally get to reveal like who's the person, he who remains plus Kang, like and mixed into one. So it was cool. Like I liked it. I already went in knowing that it wasn't gonna be better than WandaVision.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I didn't set the bar here and then they went here, so I felt like I was like betrayed. But
yeah.
But I kind of see where they were, and it just felt just short of like what I was hoping like the rating would be, just because it wasn't exciting.
Yeah.
Like it was a slow pace throughout. Like they were talking a lot. Like to be honest, like when you reflect on the episode, there's pretty much just talking. Like there's not really much. A lot of
talk. Not too much action, or not too much decent action.
Yeah, or like movement. Like it was the same room the whole time, same building. So it was cool. Like I expected it, and then yeah, that's pretty much my take on like me going into it. How did you like the deals like Miss Minutes offers Loki and Sylvie the deals? Like what did you think? Like
I was thinking, I had this written down too. When she offered that deal, I was like, I might take that deal. Like that deal kind of sounded lit. Like she's like, oh, you can go to a timeline and do like basically have whatever you would want in like a timeline. And I was like, yo, that deal sounded really good. Like, but I understand why they didn't take the deal, but I don't know. Like, I was thinking, like, yo, what would I do that in that situation?
Wait,
like,
they offer the gauntlet too. Like, you want the
Infinity Gauntlet?
Bro,
oh yeah, yo,
them.
that was a sick deal. Like, I can't lie. It's like, you know when you're watching Deal or No Deal, and then after like they're like, yo, they offer you a sick deal. I would have taken this, but I thought that was a really good deal. Like,
the only thing with that is like, when I was listening to that, I was like, how do you hold them accountable? How do you hold them accountable to give you what? Like, they might give you the gauntlet and stuff, and then eventually like, you die off some stupid stuff. Like, anything can happen this time.
Yeah.
How do you hold them accountable for what they offered you? Like, they offered you like glory and like control over a timeline. Like, how do you? I don't know how you like hold them accountable.
Make sure that's a good point. Like, in that aspect, yeah, you might not be. You can't trust, especially Misty. Like, you can't trust her.
Is that her name?
I think it's Miss
Minutes.
Miss Minutes. Sorry, yeah. You can't trust her, but at the same time, like, I was just thinking outside of that, like, yo, that was a good deal. But and another thing is, when I was watching it, I wanted like a Miss Minutes. Like, after like watching a few episodes with her, I'm like, yo, imagine how sick it would be to have like a character. It doesn't have to be Minutes specifically, but like a character in your house. You decide like it's like personality. And then like almost like an AI, like almost like a Google Home, but with more personality, and like pops up and you're like, oh, like tell me this. I don't know. I thought that was sick. And like the editing for it like looked really sick. Like, she just blended into like all of her scenes naturally.
And that like she reflected back onto like episode, or the story did, episode 2, where Loki sees a bunch of like Infinity Stones and like they're meaningless pretty much. So maybe that's why he didn't take the deal. And like, there was music that's played when she's offering this deal. And the music is played the same music that is like a violin. It's very like sad. It's when he sees his mom get smoked like because of him. Remember that video that he watched?
Yeah.
So that, and of Odin dying. So he sees those videos and that music plays. So then when he offers this, it's to signify that he's thinking about doing the deal and pretty much bringing his mom and dad back.
Like, with that being, that's hard to not take the deal. With that being said,
that's tough.
The only thing you could think of is, well, like, I have my mom and dad in this timeline, but that's not the same mom and dad that were in like the others. Even though they might be they're basically the same people. They might look at it as like, well, it's not the same people. Like, these are different people.
Yeah, exactly. And then Miss Minutes, they don't want to take the deal. She's like, yeah, good luck. And then she like goes away. It was funny. She talks to Revona. And then Revona's like, where were you? And she was a little late. Yeah. So that pretty much, like, right off the rip, I'm like, okay, so she's not, like, a completely an AI. Like, she can't be everywhere at once and talking to doing multiple things. She's one entity, like, whatever it is. But, yeah, that was cool. What did you end up thinking of Kang? Like, Kang is, like, the big bad. We see him at the end. What do you think?
You know what's so funny? Yo, I feel like I'm so out of the loop with, like, some of these things. Like, when I first seen him, and I know Kang from like the comics, but I never read a comic book with Kang. I only read up to like 2005. Yeah. But like Spider-Man, I read a lot of Spider-Man comics, and he never like interacted with Kang himself. So when I seen that guy, I was like, oh, this isn't Kang. This is like a random black guy.
This is he who must be.
Yeah. So like I had no idea it was Kang. So in the elevator and stuff like that, I'm like, wow, like they brought out this random to be in the movie that we never seen before. I was like, what a waste, right? So then after when he's like, oh, some people might call me this, or some people might call me the Conqueror. I thought they were playing on the fact that we thought it was Kang the Conqueror. So
they would do something like that too.
Yeah, they would. So I was like, what the hell? So I was like, yo, who is this random person? And a lot of people really like that character and who like that character was. But that eccentric...
From the show, or just like generally Kang?
From the show. Like Kang, like how he acted in the show. But like, I didn't really like his acting. Really didn't get to me or didn't touch me or anything. Like, so I'm just weirded out. Not weirded out, but like it just, that character didn't like hit home with me, like with what he was trying to portray. Yeah, I did think like certain things were sick, but could have been portrayed sicker when he could like, he's like, I could predict your moves, and he's like, I know what's gonna happen next, and then he's like reading it, and then he's like reading their lines. I was like, yo, that's crazy. But it kind of ended quick, like, because as soon as he said that, he's like, And he's like, I can read your lines up to now. And he's like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that was very convenient. Like I was thinking about it. He's like, and even when he was making the deal, and then they're thinking about it, and then he's like, oh, we just passed the threshold. They're like, what? The threshold? Like I don't know what's gonna happen next. Like that's so convenient.
Convenient.
You know all the way up until that point of when we were watching the show. Like, come on, bro. It was funny, but I liked him. I thought he was. Well, I don't know if I liked the character, like the one that was shown to us, like how you're saying, it didn't really touch me. I don't know if I liked the acting. He's a good actor. Like he's portrayed it probably how the producers, the writers wanted to be, and he's put his little own spin on it. He is a good actor. He does all these little movements and stuff. But I knew off rip just because like I was saying, like Kang was already mentioned from like episode 1. Yeah. And people already knew who was cast for Ant-Man, which kind of sucks. Yeah. For us as fans, but they knew who was cast as Kang, and then when I saw his face, I'm like, okay,
like, that's him.
That's him. Yeah. So it was. Yeah, I liked him overall, but.
Did you like the story? One thing I liked about it was like the way he told his story about like all the other Kangs meeting. I thought that was like really well done. Like getting like that background story all in like. It was like it felt like 5 minutes. He's like, oh, we all came together. We ended up making like because it explained a lot of things. He's like, since we're the same people and like technically their timelines are like parallel like this. Yeah. They all came up with the ideas like, oh, there must be multiple timelines. Yeah. How can we contact them? And he's like, well, if this is what I would do to contact them, so I know he's probably doing the same thing. And then when they came into contact, I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool, and like how they explained it, and then it explains why most of the TVA or all of the TVA is human, or they said maybe they had someone else come through, but like all of the TVA is human. You don't think that explains it?
I don't know if that explains it. Well, he's human, so that makes sense. But like, you're still choosing variants, right? Like, and there's variants of all forms. Like we saw like Loki's not human, so like he was chosen. Like so why was he not chosen? But he was a variant. So if he's a variant, we already heard like Titans and what's called Jotunheim people, like whatever, Frost Giants
are variants.
There's all variants. Like okay, so none of them made it to like why are all of them like pruned when they probably have different skill sets that maybe could be useful in a force? Yeah.
Maybe he only likes human variants.
Wow.
Maybe he prunes anyone else that's not human.
That's the racist. That's not even
like, it is, but yeah, that part, to be honest, it's a weak link, but it's the farthest I could go in answering that question of why I
do have another question, but like remember when in the beginning of when they were showing like the Marvel stuff and we were talking about how the voices and stuff we heard, they went through like the universe pretty much, where like our planet, they zoomed out, the solar system zoomed out, and then it ends up being a black hole we're in. So and then there's another black hole that's parallel. So he Kang, when he's explaining, he's like, we're from the 31st century. I found this out, and then parallels with me found out at relatively the same time. And he's saying that we found out that they were stacked on top of each other. So like, they're not like, time isn't like a constant thing, or however he explained it, there's on top of each other. So we're all like black holes and stuff. But what I didn't get is like, if they all found it at the 31st, I kind of answered this myself when I was writing out the question. If they found out the 31st century, right? So time's already happened. The multiverse happened up until that 31st. The war happened during the 31st century, not the beginning of time like we were told. Yeah. So it happened in the 31st century, the multiverse war, and then he came out as victor, and then he said like, this is how it needs to be. Like it needs to be a constant like stream and no like branches. Yeah. How does that affect us in the past, like 21st century, 20th century? So the only reason, like when I was typing this, I did answer it for myself, is because they don't show time as like a line like how the TVA has it. Yeah. It's more of like a circle. Like time flows together, like past, future, everything. Mm-hmm. It just happens all at once. So it's just a continuous circle. So one thing happens, it's just gonna go back. I don't know what that means specifically. Like I'm not no like crazy scientist or whatever. But that's pretty much the reason why like his war is considered our past, and like it keeps going in a circle. You know, so
like, and going back to that past thing, like, so he said that like he had to stop other Kangs from like taking over because like there's a lot of more evil Kangs in him, right? Mm-hmm. So we're variants that messed up the timeline, because the timeline seems like it was A-okay until he came around. Then he realized like we're messing up the timeline, so we got to go back. So it's messing up the timeline, leading to another Kang being powerful. Because like, from what I took from that is a variant was the only reason you needed to stop the variants is so that another Kang didn't take over.
Yeah, so he made it sound like Kangs were the people that figured out there's a multiverse and how to breach it. First, they started helping each other, and then they started getting greedy and like wanting lands to conquer. So then they start fighting each other. That's where the war starts. But it's like, okay, that's where the war starts, and like one timeline is gonna obviously protect its own.
Yeah.
And then that's how it's gonna go. So why is it that this guy is the only one that's like trying to fight somebody else? Or if a timeline is moving smooth, why is it nobody else being able to like attack? I don't know. He's pretty much the reason, but he does say things like "see you soon," like "you kill me, I'm just gonna like another variant version of me just gonna replace this throne." Like I don't know what they're insinuating. Like what's his powers? Like what is he? Is he?
Dude, that's so special.
Of course, he's like super smart because he discovers like the thing.
Yeah.
But like, what makes him the guy that's gonna be the conqueror of timelines, of multiverses? Like, why wouldn't it be somebody else? Like, I'm pretty sure people want to see Doctor Doom and other like other people, but why is it Kang? I think I don't know Kang in the comics, so I'm just throwing that out there. But I just don't understand why he's the guy.
I think the thing that makes him special is the fact that he thought of the idea of like, oh, there's another timeline, there's other timelines, and he came up with the idea of how to contact those other timelines, so then they can like the timelines like intermingle with each other. But it kind of weakens other points in like the whole storyline. But the only way I seen it was the reason why he's so significant is because he was able to contact people in the other timelines, and he was only able to do that because they came up with the idea around the same time. Like it was kind of cool because the idea is, if I'm like thinking of like, yo, there has to be another timeline I can contact them, then I'm like, okay, what would Rizzy do? What would I do? And then I just have to make a copy of it. Like, so I think that's why he was significant, whereas everyone else, no one thought of the idea of building a timeline and reaching out.
But during like after the war, like why is he the main guy? Is it just because he's that smart?
I don't know. After the war, because other people didn't know.
I even did some research.
What would the war even look like? Was the war like yeah, I don't know. Nah, because the war showed them fighting with like the prune sticks, but I assumed like, so is the war like on other planets, or did they meet up on like a random like not even time like in a TVA type space? And that's a good question.
That is a good.
That's a very weak. Like now that I think about it, though, that plot line is very like weakly like jointed together.
So do you think he was lying or like telling the truth when he was saying like, you can replace me, I don't want this anymore, and you guys can deal with it, or like you can kill me and another person is gonna be back? Like, what do you think?
I think he was telling the truth. Like I really thought he was genuine. Like, yo, like whatever happens. Like he actually looks psycho. So like, and he played his character to look like that.
Yeah.
So when he did do that, I was like, no, like this guy's serious. Like he's giving them a choice. And when he's like explained like his moral reasons for doing what he did, I didn't think he was that wrong or that bad. And when I was reading like a Reddit comment, they're like talking about like, oh, like is he really evil? Like he had the option of letting all the timelines be destroyed or ruled by like an evil Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Or the option was just maintaining his timeline by like getting rid of all the other variants.
That's from what he said. So like you can take that as face value.
I took that as face value.
So if you don't take it as face value, then
he might be wrong, because there could be an alternative where he doesn't have to mess with like the variants.
So pretty much like the only reason like I could speculate of him being evil is or wrong is he makes like Loki and Sylvi fight each other. Like he says things like, "Can you trust him?" Like like she's a murderer or whatever, things like that. Like, so why
would he hype the situation?
Yeah, so he makes them fight each other, but he wants both of them to replace him. So like it's like pretty much the show was saying like these two, even in episode I think it was 4.
Yeah.
These two are the people that when they're together, they have something that like can't be controlled. Like they make variants or what's it called?
Nexus
branches,
okay.
Yeah, or Nexus events, yeah. So they have to be separated for success, for his plan, whatever that may be.
For both of them, did he antagonize them before he said like, oh, we reached threshold, or did he antagonize them after?
I don't recall.
Because that would actually add to your theory more. Because if he antagonized them before, then he could be like, I don't know that this is what exactly it's gonna lead to after the threshold, but I do know it's gonna cause distrust between them. Either way, it makes sense that it'll cause distrust regardless, but it would mean more to me if it was before the threshold, because he could be like, yo, I really knew what was gonna happen.
Yeah, so I think it was before, so I do think he's evil in some sense, and he does say like see you soon, like, so he's like kind of maniacal in that sense, like he knows it's gonna happen. I had another question. So you did say episode 5, last episode. If you haven't watched it, check it out. You said Loki hasn't changed. He's pretty much the same. He's gonna backstab whatever. And then did you see him doing what he did? You know,
not like. To be honest, now this Loki is a completely different person. Like, I had to accept. I thought there's a possibility that he might backstab. Funny enough, it was Sylvi that was the one that like kind of betrayed him, right? Yeah. I thought it was gonna be the other way around.
She chose her personal reasons over
over him, and then she's just like, you know what? I don't trust you. And then like, so I feel like I felt bad for him though in that whole situation. But at the end of the day, like he's definitely changed. He's basically a good guy now, and he's gonna obviously try and fight. For the TVA and fight with well, I don't know what Mobius is gonna do, but like.
So did you expect him to take the deals from either Kang or Miss Minutes because you didn't think he changed?
I didn't expect him to take the deal specifically.
Not Miss Minutes. Be honest, but what about Kang's deal?
Kang's deal, I expected him to try and take Kang's deal.
Yeah.
But like, and I know that's to be honest, even that was a good guy thing to do.
What?
Take Kang's deal. Like, was Kang's deal immoral?
If he's I guess it could be immoral because your whole thing was like fighting for free will, and then you're taking it. Now you're like, oh, he's won me over. Like, it's gonna be a big battle if I don't control your free will. So like, regardless.
But he's protecting the universe.
From your the way you made it sound, like Loki made it sound. If you take his deal, then you went against what you already thought. Right?
Yeah.
And that's taking his stuff at face value. Like, they don't know if they can trust him, and you're still gonna take the deal. You're only take the deal because of the selfish reason that you get to control the timeline.
I think you're right. But so when Sylvie said like, oh, you're only doing this to control, like, did you believe her when she said like, oh, you're only trying to just get control or like still rule over the TVA? Because he wanted to take the deal, and Sylvie's like, no, we're not taking the deal.
Like, he said, let's think about it.
Yeah, let's think about it. But do you think that was selfish when he said it?
No, I don't think. I think he was like, because I already said like Loki has changed. Like, this whole show has been showing us like he's changing. He's a good guy or whatever. But so I thought like, if to take a minute to think about it isn't crazy. And if you do believe him, then it's not immoral. Like, if you do believe him, I guess you save lives, but then you also take lives with the branches, like potential lives and current lives. So like it's wild to think about. Like, what's more? You're pretty much picking what's worse, a multiversal war or
technically when you prune people, you don't kill them, you just send them to like another timeline.
No, you send them to a void, which they get killed by fucking
They
alive.
may get killed by alive.
No, they definitely because we only saw Loki's and Mobius.
Yeah, that's true.
So definitely and maybe a Thor frog. So if you're a human, you're kind of screwed, pretty much.
Get rid of Mo or get rid of Elias.
They don't have. You're a human. How are you getting rid of Elias? He's literally a cloud. No,
like smoke. Them. But you are right. Like, there is nothing. Like, I still feel like that wasn't too bad.
And why not? If you have the void, why not? Like, I guess Elias is protecting you. Why not create something that protects them, lets them live in a void?
Yeah, that works. I think that works.
But that would be like void would have to have sustenance. They'd have to have things, you know. Because it's just a void. There's nothing, like, the planet's not surviving. You're not gonna be able to eat and do whatever.
If you're not a thing, if you're not a Loki.
Revona ends up not knowing. So when Miss Minutes pulls up on her, she says, "You're late." She's like, "Yeah, but he says, here's the files. It'll work better." Yeah. She's like, "Who?" So she didn't know who it was, and she ends up reading it. We see the varying versions of herself, like she works at a school, kind of put that together already. And then, what's it called? She changes her whole mood. Like, she starts
In the school or in like the office?
In the office. She starts packing her stuff. She's ready to go. And then her and Mobius have this little sentimental argument, and then she's like, I'm gonna go find free will, or he's the only one that has free will, so I'm gonna go find it. Like,
I wonder who they went looking for. I thought it was Kang, but I don't think it's Kang.
Where she went?
Yeah. So
people are like, there's a rumor like that she made a deal with Kang, so her school version could stay the same. Like, she could still be a teacher, because that teacher, this is right after the blip when she was found, 2018. So she was helping like students and people get with like coach drives and all this stuff. So if she made a deal with Kang to let her be in TVA, she just wiped her mind. I don't know if you wipe her mind. I don't know, the whole story, the whole thing didn't.
It's very loose.
It's loose because like they said you made a deal with Kang. That's why you're in the TVA. So why doesn't she know who Kang is? He wiped her mind. He wiped her mind. Why would she wanna continue doing the deal when you wipe the mind? She doesn't even know why she's doing the deal. Like, doesn't make sense. It makes
no sense.
I don't know.
It was a so like, I feel like episodes, because there's a season 2. I wonder if that's why they're like, yo, we'll just chill on episode 6 because we have a season 2.
I think that's exactly what happened. Like 4 or 5 was interesting. That's why Tom Hiddleston like it was his favorite. And then episode 6, like, you know what, this needs to lead into it. Like, this can't be a finale, so it needs to lead into it. So they slowed it down. But Revona is like a character. Like, she's kind of a shit character. Like, you took your job too serious, and then you pretty much smoked your friend, and then now you have a whole change of heart and shit. Like,
what did he say? What did Mobius say to her? He's like, yo, stop, or like, don't. You're not going anywhere. You're not leaving.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, that was like like sentimental, and
then she beat him up, but she threw him to the ground. I thought that was funny. I knew she wasn't gonna prune him again though.
Yeah. And then she dips. She's like, I'm going to go find free will. Like, yo, your character's not really redeemable to me. Like, I don't care about your...
Well, we'll see. We might be able to see what she does. Like,
maybe. But to be honest, I like the actress. Like, I think she's beautiful. So I'm like, yeah, I'll see you soon. Whatever season. Next season, cool. You got any, like, sort of questions that you were like, egging towards?
Do you feel like now, like, where would you put this versus Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Oh, Falcon's trash. Like, that's... Loki's higher. Loki season 1's a little higher.
I feel like it's higher, but it's like close because episode 6 was so like the thing is I feel like they could have presented
now you're going back to like normalcy. Like that's
because after the potential is all gone. Like the potential is down to 0. I don't think season 2 will be as lit. Maybe because I don't like the villain, but I just don't see how they can turn season 2 into something like special again. Like I don't want to tune into season 2. And then maybe go through another 2 episodes. I can't go through another 2 episodes of filler. Like I can't do that. Like
I think so. If I don't remember my rating for Falcon, so we'll have to like double check. But if I gave that a 6, Falcon the series, I think it did. And then this is like a 7, maybe a 7.2, like just give or take here and there. And then WandaVision stuck at a 9.
Yeah, WandaVision is definitely better.
And if this was a sick finale, I would give Loki like an 8.
Yeah, but they just could have... I don't know how hard it is to make a finale sometimes. Like, bro, they're about... Oh, my God, bro. Like, they basically go to pack them, and then they have, like, a long discussion. I kind of knew she was going to pack them, but I didn't think they're going to show it on screen. So that was a little bit uncomfortable because they stabbed it in the chest. But I was like, yo, like, they could have made this so much more interesting. I just didn't think him getting killed was that interesting on screen.
It wasn't, no. Like the whole thing of like talking when he was talking and explaining this stuff, like 31st century, it was cool. Like we get like backstory and like now we get more like knowledge of multiverse and stuff. But once they were like continuously talking about debating what should we do, like bro, the story was just going flatlining. Like I don't know.
Were the fights like when you seen the fight between Loki and Sylvi, like was that satisfying for you? It was
trash, dude. I don't know what I thought.
I liked the fight. I thought it was pretty cool.
They're like. He's like, he takes, I think they move each other's hands too, because they're like, they don't want to fight each other.
Yeah.
But they have to do what they want to do. Like, bro, it was just so lame. Like, it was just like a love quarrel. And like, I know why you wanted WandaVision to be better than Loki. Loki to be better than WandaVision is because Loki was simping the whole time. That's why you wanted it to be better.
I always want the TV show that I'm watching currently to be the best show I've ever watched. It's just most shows can't do that. He was actually simping so hard.
Bro.
Oh my
man
God.
said, I don't even want the power anymore. I don't want the throne. I just want you to be happy. Like,
yeah, like what
bro,
the hell?
shut
Sylvie was like,
up.
"Yo, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just trying to pack this guy."
No, Boost, I know you for like 2 weeks, literally.
And
like,
then he falls in love. Oh my god! And she was literally like, "Yo, I really want to pack this guy." It wasn't. Maybe the show meant it to be like that, but her packing him wasn't like the satisfaction you would expect or I would expect to see. It feels like there's, and maybe the show's trying to show like, yo, like revenge isn't always sweet. So maybe there's that. But no, like that him getting packed was boring too.
I think it's because she's always wanted to branch out of this like TVA rules and like her being controlled and like following a line. Like she wants free will. She wants to know her choices are being her choices. And then she kills him and he still says, "See you soon." Like she doesn't get that like result.
Satisfaction?
Yeah, she doesn't because
She's gonna have to kill the new Kang.
sorry, I just want to go back to Revona. So when she gets those files, that makes her do a flip. Like she that's why she goes from TVA head honcho to finding out who did this and finding free will, right? So what do you think was in the files that was given to her?
I think at first I thought it was information about Kang. I don't think it's about information about Kang. She kind of is like into like a whole bunch of stuff. I thought we might seen her at the castle, like pull up to the castle, but I think there's gonna be. I'm not too sure. Like I'm not too sure who she would go to see, who we haven't seen yet, who's not in the TVA. That'd be interesting. Unless she goes to like Doctor Strange and something like that. Like, but I think that'd be extra.
I think she's gonna be one of so the main like he who remains who just got smoked. I think he sent the file. So he maybe
100%
said
it was him.
he maybe gave her information to go see a different variant version of himself. So like, and then I think she could be like a antagonist of some sort for Loki and Sylvie going to next episode, and just because she'll be thinking that she's doing something correct. And then Mobius, like I could see that happening, but they already had that. They already had that moment where she thinks she's doing something right, and Mobius is like, no, this is what moral stuff to do, and then having that clash. So I don't know if they go the same route, but I can see that happening, like her seeing Kang, and then them doing them.
Mobius's arc in like that whole situation too, I think is pretty like
Dull.
a letdown. Yeah,
Because
especially at the end when people. I don't think this is why it's a letdown, but especially at the end when people wanted to see him on a jet ski and stuff like that.
Yeah, no jet ski happened.
No jet ski, nothing. So like all the hype for Mobius kind of like down. He was a good character, but like in the last episode, all the hype died down. I knew the jet ski thing. Not I knew, but I was very strong that it wasn't gonna happen because who knows like that's gonna be like an internet sensation. Like where everyone's like, oh my god, like this is the line in the TV show. Like someone's in the production, they're like, oh, Mobius, jet ski. Let's make sure he's on a jet ski in season 6. Like,
yeah.
I don't think it's like that. And remember when we were talking about in the beginning, like hopping different timelines? They don't hop different timelines. So like even towards the end, they didn't really like visit another timeline to do that. Like they didn't go anywhere else. I don't know. That was kind of a letdown too.
Yeah. Did you end up catching any like Easter eggs though?
In this one. No, I don't think so. I think I probably caught one, but I can't remember.
Yeah, did you read any or anything like that?
No, I didn't read any.
There's a couple. There's like when they walk in, there was instead of three statues of the timekeepers, there was 4. So that could be like a nod to comics. There was a bunch of other nods, like how he was positioned, like Kang was positioned on his thing. What he was talking about, he was referencing different comics. There was just here and there. They were kind of scattered, but they weren't like super sick. Like they weren't like very interesting. Like I want to know what this was. But yeah, it was all right.
I wonder if like they could have made him like Sylvie trying to kill Kang a little bit more like sick. Like when she's like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, and then tries to stab him and he teleports away. I'm like, it would be sick if like she all of a sudden like. She tries to stab him and he teleports, so like it shocks us instead of like hearing like, oh, I'm trying to kill you, and then like she tries to and she fails. I don't know. It was kind of
or they could have made it like him go like not like phase through it because of his thing. So
yeah.
he's like she stabs him and then she finally feels like, yo, let's go, I killed him, and then he phases out and he's like, yeah, good try, kid.
Try again. But when he says try again, I don't feel like we're gonna see anything that's him. It's gonna be just another version of him.
Yeah. That's why he's just so confident. He did say he lived 1 million lifetimes. I don't know how that's gonna work. Did you like when that Sylvie moment happened? Did you think she was gonna get her revenge, like, or did you Like, you knew what her decision was gonna be.
Yeah, once she kicked Loki out of the thing, I was like, oh, she's gonna pack him, and the screen kind of hinted towards it, but I knew she was gonna get packed. But his death wasn't that significant. That's the issue. Like, I don't know. They like episode 6 is really like So to answer that question, yes, I felt like she was gonna pack him. I didn't think it was gonna be as graphic, which was barely graphic, but like stabbing him like in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
But no, like I feel like it was like a letdown death. Like, they could have made it bigger.
What? Yeah, I agree with you. So what did you think like the ending meant? Pretty much, where she kills him. He says, "See you soon." The timeline is scattering.
Crying.
Yeah, did she cry?
Yeah, she started crying afterwards.
Oh, okay,
but I don't know why she cried.
Cause she didn't get her, like, it.
You think it's because of revenge?
Yeah.
I think because she betrayed Loki.
And then no, I think it's just because it wasn't. Like, maybe I think she betrayed him and it wasn't satisfying at the same time. So Loki gets kicked out and then he goes to back in time. I didn't really understand this right from the get go, and I still, like, it's fuzzy on me. I pause. He's he goes back in time and he's talking like Mobius and stuff, and like Mobius doesn't know who he is when, like, Mobius knows a definitely like bunch of Lokis. Like, why don't you know this?
Why wouldn't
Loki?
you know that Loki? Yeah.
And then they're talking about, who are you? Are you an analyst? And then he looks at the statue and it's like
Kang the Conqueror.
Kang the Conqueror. And I was like, I just don't understand how that like changed. Like, the past changed, maybe the future changed, but I guess it works in a circle of some sort. So I don't know. I was questioning, like, did he go to a different like multiverse? Like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking. But then the TVA is it's separated from other timelines. It's its own thing.
Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing as
allegedly. So I don't know. I was like, what's going on here? And then he, like, bro, he looks like such a bitch. Like, you know how we were saying, like, he's catering to people. Like, bro, do something. Like, cause he ran to Mobius. He's like, he's coming. He's coming. He's the guy that's gonna control all. They're gonna fight the whole multiverse, whatever. Like, it's Kang. Like, bro, fuck, man, stop crying. Like, just stop crying.
Actually, wait, like, I don't know.
He's literally like 1,500 years old and he's gone through so much. Like, why are you crying?
And he's
like,
panicking.
Bro,
that's a good. I didn't even think about
bro,
that.
Man faced Thanos and you're crying. Like, come on, bro. I don't know who's strong, who's better, Thanos or Kang. I feel like Thanos is stronger personally, but Kang's damage is multiversal. So, like,
yeah, I think Thanos is better. Like, if Thanos met up with Kang, it'd be a wrap.
Yeah, if Kang is dead, or if like a bunch of Thanoses collectively knew about the multiverse, like they would. I don't think the multiverse survives.
A couple of Thanoses knew about the multiverse.
Yeah.
I wonder if he would try and do like I wonder what his new strategy would be if he had the multiverse option.
Pardon me?
I wonder what his new strategy would be if he had access to multiverses.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The logical answer for me, like, personally, I would look for the timelines that don't have a lot of people, smart. And then take the resources. But I think his theory would just be, let me just kill everybody.
Yeah, he really wanted to get half people gone.
Which doesn't make sense, but whatever. I want to say this. It doesn't make sense because the population, like, pretty much, like, not doubles, but it multiplies.
Yeah.
So if you half it, it's a quicker chance for that half to go back to where it was in a fewer amount of years, rather than you just, like, saying people need less resources, or they have more resources, or you just cut off up until like saying 1/10 of the population. Like,
I agree with that.
So I don't know what he was saying, bro. Loki returns to season 2. So, like, what do you expect for season 2? What's going on?
I think obviously we're gonna see Loki trying to get rid of Kang the Conqueror, the new Kang the Conqueror. I think we're gonna see more, like, I don't know what to, because they let me down so much that I don't know. What do you see, like, in upcoming? I wish I could answer your question, but I feel like I don't have, like, the answers.
To be honest, like, I don't blame you for not, like, even coming up with, like, a thought. It's like, because it was such a letdown. It's like, you don't even want to think about it. Like,
no,
it doesn't even matter. Like, whatever they do is like, come on, bro. They already set the bar so low. I think they're gonna do, like, Loki meets up with Sylvi.
Yeah.
Of course, and then another Kang, like, the actual Kang, like the Conqueror version, is gonna be their villain. I think Revona does meet a different Kang version. It's gonna probably set up to Ant-Man. It's gonna be end of next year, I believe, or early.
Next year? I mean, that makes sense.
End of next year that the show should release. I just don't see it being like really good. Like the funny moments are pretty much gone, right? Like now we know that there's an issue going on, like a big war coming. Who do you fight with? Like the fight scenes weren't crazy. The love scenes weren't that great either. Like some of them were cool.
Oh, he kissed Sylvi that in the finale episode, right?
Yeah.
Mad corny. It just wasn't a hit.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. It seem like season 2 is gonna be like super sick. I don't want Falcon to have a season 2, so that's cool, but I don't expect
the one we wanted to have a season 2, WandaVision, doesn't end up having a season 2.
To be honest, I'm kind of okay with that. Like,
really?
Yeah, because
I like seeing WandaVision work.
I liked seeing WandaVision, but I don't want them to draw something out and make it cheesier.
More than
whatever. I don't expect good things, but what did you accept? We know like this was a bad episode for you, but what was your rating
for the episode?
Mm-hmm.
I think I would rate it like a 6.
A 6. What was your rating for the season then?
6.5. I know the math doesn't the math doesn't make sense, but at the end of the day,
but
like
you weigh the ending episodes more so than
I just the last 4 or 5 were super sick.
Yeah, so you weigh the 4, 5, 6 more than you do the 1, 2, 3.
Just because coincidentally 4 or 5 were sick, and then after and then I just rated this one like the rating for this episode and like the final rating aren't too related, but at 6 I feel like 6.5 is fair.
So 6 and then 6.5
for the whole show.
Okay. I would go 7 for the season.
Yeah.
For the series, I want to say like a 7.5.
7 for the season, but for the episode.
You said
series.
Series, yeah, 7, and then the final episode, maybe like a 7.
Oh, season finale. Okay. So you rated a 7. Like it's average, good.
Yeah, it was average.
I don't think it
was what I expected.
I wouldn't really recommend like someone to watch the show though. Like you know how you always ask me, yo, like what do you recommend? Like you see yourself saying like, yo, you gotta watch Loki.
I feel like it depends. Like how much does this carry over to like the multiverse that everybody's leading into? Like we know WandaVision goes to the multiverse with a madness, right? How does this affect phase 6 or phase 5? That's pretty much it. If it doesn't, one watch through and keep it moving. If it really does affect it, maybe you'll have to do a twice watch through. I don't see myself watching it more than twice.
I can see it affecting it lightly, but not like super heavy.
And I'll be on my phone watching this. Like I won't.
When you like Loki, like rewatching it or season 2.
Rewatching it.
Oh, okay. I don't think I'd ever rewatch it. Like I'd never fire it up. Like it just miss. I could see myself firing up WandaVision in like the future, but Loki like it's in like the recycling bin. Like it's gone. Like I can't imagine watching Loki again.
Can we get like just one line? Can we get, you know what, Brinder, you were right. Loki isn't better than WandaVision.
You're right. You're right. After watching 6 episodes, I can confirm Loki isn't better than WandaVision.
Thank you.
After watching the 6 episodes and like giving every episode a fair shake, I can say that.
Thank you. That's all I wanted.
But it had potential to be better than WandaVision for sure.
No.
It had potential to be better than WandaVision.
This is why you set yourself up for like a letdown.
Yeah, but they like you have superstar directors and they did a terrible job. I don't know what to tell you. I feel like you need your money back. I feel like I don't want to rag on the show because it's a good show at the end of the day, but like the standards are a little bit higher.
Can you pass me that? The pillow. You know you gotta get it into the shots.
Oh my god!
You
know what's funny? We seen someone sent a pic of like the James Potter bus stop.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I was like, is that actually
that's Saga
related?
area, right?
Yeah. Nah. Yeah. Oh yeah, it is because they have the Zoom buses.
Yeah. I know that. That was a pretty crazy thing to think. Like, it's not from Harry Potter.
It has nothing to do with Harry Potter.
No, I'm pretty sure it has to be like a rich person just had the money.
And then named it James Potter?
Either I think it's like an actual person. Like I don't think it was because.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you have bread, you can do that stuff.
And you can like buy adopt a highway.
So I give you my thoughts on what I will expect from season 2 what is your I don't think you have like thoughts of what's gonna happen.
I really don't like. I'm
what do you
really
think
shocked.
of like ratings? Like, what do you think? You think it's gonna be an average?
I'm not even excited. Like, I think it would be like a 6. Like, I don't think
now it has a higher chance of being like a 7.
Because I have low standards. Yeah. Nah, like I feel like it's gonna do a terrible job. Remember when we were like, you asked me like, yo, how do you think this is gonna relate to like the rest of the
You're like, it's not. It's like a standalone.
Yeah, like it seems like it's about to be a standalone, and then now it seems like a standalone, except of like House of Madness or whatever, which I don't know exactly what that is.
This might connect to Ant-Man, and it should connect to Ant-Man because that same character that plays Kang is in Ant-Man, so it should lead into it somehow.
I wonder
we already said like Ant-Man's like, it's good, but it's I don't know if it's important.
Ant-Man is as long as they stick to the script and keep it funny, that's it. Like, don't try and do too much. Like, you're not gonna be able to tell a fire story, at least in my opinion. But what do I know?
Do you have any like questions left, or you're solid on it?
I feel like because of my disappointment, I'm not excited.
Reserved?
Yeah, I'm reserved. Like, I like being excited for an episode and watching it. And it's hard because I feel like they kind of took the slow route, and before, like, I liked when they were movie-esque in episodes 4 and 5, but it's not movie-esque. Like, I didn't leave feeling like I watched a sick movie. Remember, like, high school, you go to a movie theater, you watch a movie, you leave feeling something. I didn't really feel something, but I know episodes like this is, where you shine the most and you pick up, like, little things, but I feel like you didn't even like the episode that much.
No, it was like a mid episode. Like,
mad mid. Like,
pretty much.
I like episodes that, like, do more for me, so.
I was just trying to understand because, like, for some reason, my manager texted me. He's like, did you see they confirmed it? I didn't watch the episode, dude. I don't know if they confirmed season 2 or not. I didn't read anything on it, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, bet, whatever. So I know there's a season 2, and instantly I'm like, okay, this can't be an epic finale because they have to lead to season 2, right?
But you can still have good finales. Like Arrow, you could. Season 1, Arrow.
To be honest, I gave up on finales ever since I think it was 2019. I didn't like the finale. The movie was good, but I didn't like the finale of Endgame.
Yeah.
So I thought that was mid. Power was terrible to me. And so was Game of Thrones last season. So I'm like, those 3 in combination, I was like, you know what? These guys have like crazy stories, and they're just not able to finish.
Yeah. So they can't wrap around the ending.
So I just kind of like gave up on it, like, or not gave up on it. I just expect, like, you know how you go in, you're like, yo, this is the last episode. It's gonna be fire.
Mad low.
You think it's a 10? I gave it. I'm gonna go in expecting like a 6.5 to 7.5 range. And
I don't blame you.
And then just hope for something else. But that pretty much wraps up the episode, guys. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music. Again, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Give us suggestions. So if you think like we should be watching this, talk about this, like let us know, because we are going into a period where we're not gonna have like consistent Marvel content. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we gotta know like what's gonna we're watching. Another episode that's gonna come out is like Fast and Furious. We're
watching on Saturday.
Yeah, we're watching that. So, and we're gonna have a guest on for that. He's a friend who loves the Fast and Furious franchise.
Oh,
it's a little too much. No, Goobs. And then he also loves cars themselves. So we'll see his take. I'm not crazy on the Fast and Furious franchise, and I don't hear good things about this new one. So we'll see where it goes. But that's gonna look out for that episode. And we have a Black Widow episode we've already done. So that review is gonna come out soon. But that's pretty much it. So yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Easy, guys.
Peace.